Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. I'm Gabby.
I'm Charlotte.
And right behind us is the new Ioniq 9, a vehicle that is very bold. You either love it or you hate it, and a lot of you guys have mixed opinions about this particular vehicle. So in today's live stream review, we're not exactly going over full in-depth everything you need to know about this vehicle, which if you do want to know that, we have done a video on it, and we will be doing more and more as we're getting these vehicles more often to our dealership, right?
So if that's not a reason to go and hit the subscribe button, make sure that you do so before we even start.
I don't know what is. So what we are going to do today is answer your questions about the Ioniq 9, but also showcase the exterior and interior briefly so you get the general layout of the car. We'll show the lighting configurations, what your daytime running lights look like versus the full headlamp unit. We'll talk about the inside lights, the seating layout, and whatnot. And we also want to talk about the trim levels because it can get kind of confusing.
Definitely.
And just looking at Hyundai Canada's website, even ourselves are confused. So we hope to answer some questions. If you are watching this live right now, please let us know your questions in the live chat box below. Or if you're watching this in the future and something comes to mind, use the comment section. We check that every single day and we'd be happy to clear things up for you.
All right, with that being said, I think we should start.
All right, we'll take a quick look at the exterior. I'll briefly explain some of the powertrain differences on this vehicle as well too. The overall size of the vehicle is going to be the same regardless of your configuration. So today we've got the ultimate calligraphy, aka the most expensive and the top of the line trim level. This vehicle on all its trims will have the same battery capacity of 110.3 kilowatt hours.
You're good.
Lithium-ion polymer battery will be equipped in all of these vehicles. However, you get the option of a rear-wheel drive configuration or two different all-wheel drives. Now, on the Ultimate Calligraphy, you only get the more powerful of the all-wheel drive systems. So that means we have two 160 kilowatt electric motors, one in the front, one in the rear. That takes the horsepower to 422 horse with 516 pound-feet of torque. That is a lot. So this is our torque boosted, or I guess power boosted powertrain option. Don't worry if you don't need all that horse, don't need all that torque, and don't want to spend that premium price tag. There is still an all-wheel drive version with 303 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque. There we go. That's the right number. So let's take a quick look at the front end of this vehicle. The headlamps look quite stunning. I do love it. You have this daytime running bar that runs all the way across the front end of the vehicle. Definitely, I guess, widening the overall design of the car. It's in our pixelated design sequence that we've seen since the start on the Ioniq 5, so it definitely fits in the Ioniq family. The main headlamp is positioned a little bit lower in the front end of the vehicle. However, it's still in a perfect setting and it looks quite good. I really do like what Hyundai's doing with the pixelated elements. I think it looks funky and it definitely fits an EV because it's futuristic, but it's also kind of retro. And when we see the inside of this car, you'll also be greeted with some things that you just expect in a car. It's conventional. We have toggles and buttons to change things like our climate control. Not everything's done on a screen, and that makes the user experience a lot more friendly. All right, I'll talk about a couple more things. Now, again, I don't want to go too in depth, but you have things like your parking sensors hidden nicely so they don't stand out too much and take away from the design of the vehicle. And I do think it's quite nice that although this is a very bold and different looking car, there's not too much going on the front, but there's also not too little where it looks boring. There's still design, and I think it still looks good. There's also these active air channel flaps, so these will open and close depending on what the vehicle deems fit to allow more airflow for the car. A lot of the design is of course going to be due to aerodynamics. They want to make EVs as aerodynamic as possible so we can get the best range possible. On this particular trim level, it's rated about 500 kilometers of all-electric range. That's right, kilometers. We're based here in Canada. I don't know the mile range. Sorry, I don't have that calculation off the top of my head. If you do get the rear-wheel drive configuration, again, it'll have the same battery pack, and that's rated at about 530. It's just over. So that will be your most efficient powertrain option. You'll see a lot more of the aerodynamic cues when we go to look at the wheels, so let's go quickly take a look over there. This is the larger wheel size, so this is a 21-inch alloy that is a Calligraphy exclusive. It has that beautiful pattern that we've grown to see and love on things like the Hyundai Palisade, so it's still fitting in that family. And because this is kind of a Palisade or electric Palisade, it works and it makes sense. However, this is an aerodynamic alloy, so it's going to be a little bit more efficient. It's going to allow air to channel a little bit better and minimize the air resistance. Same is true for the overall lines of the car and then things like our door handles. If you've been studying EVs for a while, you know most EVs have retractable or flush style handles. These ones come out nice, greet you, and even have a little bit design with the Ioniq 9 name, and then they will tuck in when the vehicle is in motion. The side profile of the vehicle reminds me a lot of an Elantra Touring. So I don't know if you guys remember this car from about 2009, 2010. It was an interesting looking vehicle, and I will pull up a picture just to show you guys side by side, but we definitely have a little bit of a throwback look over there. It starts off low in the front and then tapers higher, 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 and remains pretty consistent. It's definitely not as rectangular as something like the EV9, but it's pretty flat on the back end and pretty tall. This vehicle is 10% larger in battery capacity than the Kia EV9. It's just over 10% actually. However, when it comes to the size of the car, it's just marginally bigger. So it's a little bit longer, a little bit wider, and a smidge bit taller. Nothing too crazy, nothing that you'd really notice unless you park the cars side by side. The back end of the vehicle has a very distinct light bar, just like what we saw at the front. So full LEDs that expand all the way across. Be cool if it was all the way around, but maybe not really.
Ooh, interesting.
Hyundai's gonna take that when this vehicle's refreshed. I'm calling it now. It's gonna be a full square.
Gabby wants her check.
Just kidding. So bold lights, seriously bold. Everything about this car is super bold, but also minimalistic in a way. The Ioniq 9 emblem is stamped into the paint, so it's all very, very flush finished. It just looks good. Even your rear Hyundai emblem is actually encased in the back glass, so there's no regular Hyundai badge. And I think this just, it's modern, it's cool, it's all funky. A rear wiper is tucked away underneath the spoiler, and something that I found that was a little bit weird, but I guess it makes sense due to the fact that this is a full light bar. On a lot of our vehicles with the digital rear view mirror, we get the camera somewhere over here. However, on this vehicle, it's right there. Kind of odd, but I mean, it makes sense when we hop inside and see it. It still looks like a good vision or a good view. Our rear view camera is just to the left of that, and then we've got our tailgate release to the side. You still get great functions like proximity tailgate that automatically opens, things like digital access so you can unlock, start, and drive your vehicle from your phone, but there's still a lot of conventional things too, so it's not too crazy of a switch from whatever you're driving currently. All right, I think that's gonna sum up what I'm talking about on the exterior. Like I said, this video is gonna be a lot about design, asking you guys what you think about the look of this vehicle and kind of just showing it to you as we see it. This is our second unit to arrive at our Brantford Hyundai location, and as far as I know, it is available. So if you are looking to get your hands on one, this one's in the funky green color. It's here. Charlotte and I filmed it. I don't know if that adds value or takes away for you.
It definitely takes away.
It is here. All right, now Charlotte will take you guys on a look of the inside. The inside, I will say, very premium. And again, I'm someone who really does love buttons and dials, and this makes me happy. So if you like that too, prepare to be amazed.
All right, so let's take a look at the interior. Now, if you're not the biggest fan of the exterior, you're still not sure where it lands, if it's a hit or if it's a miss, if you love it or hate it, the interior is something that is absolutely gorgeous, and I think that Hyundai has always done a fantastic job with their interiors. So I'll have Gabby give a pan of the cabin, that way you guys can see what I'm talking about, make a first impression for yourself, and then we'll go through it together to see some of the fun elements. And exactly like what Gabby said, is you'll see a lot of conventional elements, which is really funny because this is such a modern and futuristic looking vehicle. And one could even argue that one of the more traditional or conventional elements has to do with the fact that we have a column mounted shifter. It's a shift by wire, but it's column mounted nonetheless. So let's take a look at some of the design cues on the driver's side door. I love the fact that we're still rocking with the pixelated imaging on the interior too. We have some chrome, and we just have a lot of really interesting line work too. So a lot of circular elements coming from just the trim, also the door handles, which house all of our fun seating configuration functions too. And then also it's worth noting that a lot of the trims are going to carry a premium sound system as well. So this one has a Bose premium sound system, but you don't actually have to go up to the top trim to get that, which is something I really like. Also, this car has beautiful ambient lighting, and it's all throughout the vehicle. So it's not exclusive to just the driver or the passenger in the front. It really is peppered throughout. So even those in the second row can enjoy it too. So right now we've got it set to blue for Hyundai, and it looks great. Just sneaking in here. One thing that I've really been enjoying about this vehicle is just the seats themselves. You can see from here, there's so many different ways to configure it. And we actually have a plan to do a full comfort review or seating review too, because they deserve that much attention. They're heated, they're ventilated, you still have an Ergo motion seat, so incredibly comfortable for everyone involved. I'll have Gabby come around, but actually, do you want to take a look at the lighting sequences?
Yeah, so I'll come to the front and kind of tell Charlotte what to do.
Thank you.
So right now we have our full headlamp unit on. You can see our main headlamps positioned a little bit lower on the front end, and then our daytime running light. Charlotte, do you want to turn just the DRLs on?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so you can see that bold light bar all the way across the vehicle, and then some of our smaller pixelated lights are also illuminated. Charlotte, what if you turn the lights off? There we go. So this is the vehicle with everything off. You can still see those light cubes. The design is so, so cool. And one thing that you can't actually tell really on camera, behind this glass pane, we've got more cubes. If you like the Minecraft movie, you're gonna love this. Lots of blocks.
Gabby, what if I like Roblox?
That too.
Perfect.
Girl, whatever square thing you like, there's lots of squares on this car. But I really do love the look of the lights, even when they're off. It's cool. I don't know, this car is cool. And especially in a world where EVs are often deemed as boring, this isn't boring. This is fun. All right, we got our hazards on now. So they're amber hazard lights. Those, of course, also be your turn signal indicators. They are repeated on the mirrors, which I'll give you guys a closer look at right now. There we are, so you can see them off to the side. And even from the rear, you'll see the glow. We'll take a quick look at the lights from the back. So there we are. I know a lot of you guys aren't necessarily impressed with lower position lights. I will say, while these are obviously lower in the bar, they aren't low at all. So unless you're absolutely tailgating somebody and you've got a massive truck, you should be able to see those turn signal indicators, no problem. There's our brake lamp. You can see it's also our high mounted stop lamp too. So there's little breaks in the light bar of what lamps, of course, will be triggered by what motion. Charlotte, do you mind putting the car in reverse?
Yep, sure thing.
Don't hit me though.
Oh, let me turn it, get ready to oh, it was in drive. Oh my goodness.
It's our first day.
Yeah, I'm new here.
All right, guys. Hang on. Close your door. Oh, there we go. There is a reverse lamp. Looks pretty small on camera, but it's really all you need when you're reversing. And then, of course, you have the artificial noise emitted from the vehicle when you are reversing. I'll quickly answer a question that I haven't seen anybody ask here, but I have seen them asked a lot in the comments, and that is, why does my EV make noise when I'm driving slow or reversing? It is a safety regulation, so here in North America, and I believe in other countries as well too, it is something that is included on just about every single EV and even a lot of hybrid and plug-in hybrid vehicles because there is no engine noise. So if you're maneuvering this vehicle slowly at, let's say, a parking lot or mall type thing, it gives pedestrians a little bit more awareness as to, you know, there's a vehicle nearby, watch out. So, hope that helps. And no, you can't turn it off. All right.
I absolutely could not hear anything that you were saying on the outside of this vehicle.
I was talking about the artificial noise, how it's safety regulated.
Well, I was going to say, this vehicle is actually incredibly quiet when it comes to the noise cancellation and a lot of the sound deadening that it does. So that was actually one of the key features that they mentioned. And I was literally sitting here and I was like, I can see Gabby's lips moving, but I have no idea what she's saying.
What is she talking about?
So if it can drown out Gabby, it can drown out road noise, guys. No, it definitely lots of improvements made in the cabin for sure. Some of the elements that I really like on the interior is, of course, the seats. They're super wide, even in the backrest component. So again, it feels very cushy, feels very luxe, incredibly, incredibly comfortable. And this is going to be a leatherette as well. So I know a lot of people are actually preferring the leatherette over a traditional leather. A couple of the elements that I just think are fun has to do with even our steering wheel. So we have an illuminated, again, pixelated logo in the center, so our Morse code for H. But I like the fact how when you're shifting gears, it'll actually change color, but also with your drive modes.
When you're shifting gears.
You know what I mean.
You're right, you're not wrong there.
I was like, ah! Yes, when you're putting it in drive, reverse, or park. But you can see that it actually goes and gives you a little bit of feedback too. So purple for your My Drive, teal again for Eco, Normal, Sport, and My Drive. So it's fun just seeing some display elements like that, and then again also paired with the changing cluster. The tech in this vehicle is absolutely incredible. Dual 12.3-inch screens from what we see right now. Incredibly easy to use on the software too. Integrated navigation, you'll notice, and as any 3-row SUV should have, you have passenger talk as well. This is a big vehicle. It doesn't feel like it when you're driving it, but this is a big vehicle, and sometimes you don't want to be shouting to those who are in the 3rd row, so you can use the in-car intercom system. But again, I just really love how this is configured. The screens also have a nice bit of curve towards the driver, so it's very easy for me to be driving, to be focusing on the road, but still able to access any of this. And a lot of things can be done through our virtual assistant as well, which I think is worth noting. But you really have full control of the vehicle. You also have full control of the tech in the 2nd row when it comes to the seats, if you want them heated or ventilated, the look of them, and then also the climate control. Gabby spent a couple seconds taking a look at more of the materials that we have. So again, some really fun detailing. I love the calligraphy badging. This feels super retro and futuristic at the same time. It almost makes me feel like I'm looking at a mid-century modern magazine that's focusing on vehicles. So you can see a lot more of the chrome detail, a lot of this on the door sills. It looks fantastic. And again, more ambient lighting stretching underneath our infotainment. Love this center area. Real buttons, real dials for your climate control. You can easily switch it to the rear and adjust everything from there. And then front, again, this is fantastic. This is easy to use, and this still provides some haptic feedback too. One of the tech advancements they've included is the fact that you have 3 USB-Cs, but these 2 are actually capable of 100 watts. So basically, I could charge up my laptop using just that USB-C, which is pretty cool if you're sitting somewhere and charging for a little bit longer and want to do some work on your laptop. Also, some improvements made to our wireless phone charger. You've got your cup holders too.
Design, baby, design.
Design, sorry. Bi-directional center consoles, cool.
That is cool.
So that's a design element. Also has a pull-out drawer in the 2nd row too, which is very nice.
2nd row?
Yeah, let's take a look at the 2nd row.
I'm not sure if Charlotte mentioned the sunroof, but it's massive.
It's massive, and look at the curvature that it has. So it follows the same silhouette as the vehicle, obviously, but it's not flat on the top, or we're really coming away from that rectangular design that the EV9 has. And again, a little bit more gradual. It's very beveled for sure. Looks great, absolutely huge. Design back here, again, super practical. Comfortable captain's chairs. They're electronically controlled. Again, more climate control. Lots of storage. In terms of mechanical design, completely flat floor because we're built on the EGMP, which is going to be that skateboard style ramp or platform that basically allows for it to be completely flat, which means I get more leg room, I get more storage room, and it's just way more comfortable, way more room for everyone involved. Also, because we have that beveling, even though I've got a sunroof, like my arm is fully extended here, and this is all the headroom I have, and I'm sitting up tall.
That's a lot of headroom.
That's a ton of headroom. Mm-hmm. So if you're, even if you're not hauling, 6 people in this vehicle, if you're even hauling a couple, or if you're taller, this is going to be so incredibly comfortable for you.
We got asked if, hold on, let me find it again. Is the Apple/Android CarPlay wireless, as it's not in the Ioniq 6?
Yes.
It's wireless.
So everything is pretty much wireless in this vehicle. So wireless phone charger, wireless connectivity, your heads-up display, which this trim does have, also has capacity to show your wireless media, but also for your turn-by-turn and your navigation from your phone's maps. So really nice, sleek system.
Should we answer some questions, Cher?
Yeah, and let's do a trim breakdown too.
All right. Now, I know we didn't show the 3rd row. Do not worry, you guys. We will have a more in-depth review of this vehicle probably next Tuesday or Thursday on our typical Hyundai days. We do want to spend a lot more time with it, and we certainly want to put it up against the Kia EV9 as well too, considering
Sorry, I just need to sit down.
they are sister vehicles.
Do you want a chair?
No, I'll stand.
Okay.
All right, let's trim break it down. So I've got Hyundai's website up right now. Don't mind the crack on my iPad. Tim closed a car hood on it. So the introductory trim level is called the Essential Rear-Wheel Drive, and this is the only rear-wheel drive option available for the Ioniq 9. It's going to have the same battery capacity as all the other models, except it'll only have a single 160 kilowatt electric motor mounted in the rear. You get great features on it. You got your highway driving assist, you got your comfort functions like heated seats, heated steering wheel, the 12.3-inch display, all of that good stuff. That is priced at $59,999 as the MSRP, and then the $62,000 price will include freight and air. But as far as taxes and everything goes, that will vary depending on your province. Next up is the preferred all-wheel drive. So this one's a little bit odd. This particular trim level will give you 303 horsepower with 446 pound-feet of torque. So, and it also give you all-wheel drive, of course. So 2 electric motors, one in the front, one in the rear. The one in the front, however, is a 70 kilowatt instead of the 160 that we'll see on the preferred all-wheel drive plus. I'll get to that in a second. So this particular model will give you good range. However, it'll have a little bit less horsepower and torque than the Ultimate Calligraphy we just showed you here today. It's priced at $64,999, and then when you go to select this model, you also get the option for a luxury package. It's an almost $12,000 add-on, but it packs on a lot. So this is where you'll get a lot of your more luxurious options. So pano roof, integrated driver memory seat, a whole lot more, steering wheel pixel lighting. You guys can pause and screenshot this or check it out yourself if you'd like, but this is where you'll get the luxurious options, and then that's extra driver comforts. I'm just gonna quickly go back and find that screen again to talk about the Plus. Now the Plus has the same size motor for both the front and the rear, 160 kilowatts for both, and this is where you'll get the added 442 horse with 516 pound-feet of torque. It's priced the same as the preferred all-wheel drive if you're just going to get the preferred all-wheel drive plus base. However, if you want to upgrade, the Ultimate Calligraphy package is an almost $17,000 add-on.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so it gets a little pricey for sure, but it's cool to see that you can get all-wheel drive or the more high-performance all-wheel drive for the same price.
Yeah,
it looks like. Why are you?
And I'm here.
Hello. I'm gonna bring it down a bit so we get more car.
That's just more belly, unfortunately. It's a full service here at Brand for Kia. Keep in mind that when we talk about price point on vehicles, this is something that has come up multiple times, is we're not by any means saying that this is an affordable vehicle for the everyday Canadian. We will say that we think that it is priced exceptionally when you are comparing it against its competitors.
Yes.
So let's talk Tesla, let's talk Rivian, let's talk vehicles that are capable of higher voltage charging.
The Volvo.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but the Volvo 3-row EV.
Yeah, that one. But guys, like those vehicles all have an MSRP of over $100,000. This one,
Not even just over 100,000. Well over 100,000.
Yes.
Not like 101,000.
so are we saying that, $85,000 MSRP is affordable? No. Are we saying that it is competitive? Yes, definitely.
Yes. Someone just asked, what are the battery capacity options? There's only one for the Ioniq 9. It's 110.3 kilowatt hours. That's across all models. So from top to bottom, it's that.
Yep, Brian just answered that too. Great.
What do you guys think about the car?
What do you guys think about the color? I feel like I see conflicting in the chat, but a lot of people are leaning towards, like, hey, I think it's a rocking color. Gabby also perfectly blends in with it today, so.
Should I just stand over here?
Where'd she go? I don't know.
Saw someone ask if this comes in gas. And no, it doesn't, but if you're looking for a 3-row all-wheel drive gasoline SUV minus adjusted Palisade or even the Santa Fe, the Palisade is the closer competitor simply because of its size. But either way, you can get an Ultimate Calligraphy trim level on both of them. And they're both fantastic cars, but depending on what your needs are, one might suit you better than the other.
The 2026 Palisade, we've done a couple videos on it from the New York Auto Show, but it's pulling a lot of design cues from the Ioniq 9. So if you love the style of this, that also might just be a better configuration. And then it gives you the option for gas or a hybrid.
Another road trip video from Charlotte.
So it's actually just been a year because it was Memorial Day weekend in the US when we went. I would actually love to do another one if I leave my toddler at home. And yeah, doing it with a toddler was my mistake. And I own that. That was on me.
You can do it with two
But-
toddlers pretty soon.
I know. Yeah, no, definitely not. But I think it would be really, really cool to do it with an NACS charge port, and just to see how the difference is.
Yeah. That's something we didn't show on today's video, but we did show on Tuesdays. If you're wondering why, again, this video is simply to show kind of the design, get you guys familiar with the cabin and the exterior of this car, and hear what you think about it, because it's polarizing. I posted a photo of it on my Instagram today, and a lot of people had things to say, positive and negative. And of course, with design, not everyone's gonna love a design. That's the beauty of being able to choose. But
Ooh.
I quite like it. I think it's super fun. I really do love the interior. Charlotte drove it on Tuesday. I drove it today, and yeah, super quiet inside, super comfortable. The seats hold you in very nicely. It's a sweet ride.
It's a pretty sweet ride. It's very, very comfortable. I like the bolstering that you can adjust on the seats too. A couple other questions that I'm seeing is, where is this one built? This one I believe is currently built in South Korea.
Georgia.
It is Georgia. Oh yes, they retooled the plant. Sorry, that was my bad. Gabby knows what's up. And someone else was asking about what platform it's built on. So it is built on the eGMP, the 800 volt capacity for the eGMP. So definitely a higher degree of charging you can definitely get. And again, that's what enables it to have that completely flat skateboard style where they're able to basically add in panels to adjust the base.
And the beauty of a 800 volt charging infrastructure, architecture, I should say, guys, it opens up a lot of quicker charging opportunities. So this vehicle versus, let's say, the Hyundai Kona. Hyundai Kona is fantastic. If you're someone who charges your vehicle exclusively at home and never really think about road tripping or DC fast charging, it doesn't really matter which one you get, whichever one fits your life better, I guess. But if you are someone who's road tripping and you rely on DC fast chargers, this one can go from 10% to 80% in 24 minutes with a 350 kilowatt charger, something that the Kona will not be able to do, simply due to its infrastructure. Architecture, gotta stop.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Those words, yeah, no.
Mike says, does it have a backseat microphone projection system like the EV9? Yes, it does.
We always end up with the same device.
I know. There's some things that just
Don't change.
are meant to be. Some
Oh,
things
Ryan gave
never
the charge
change.
times. Oh, Ryan.
Way to go. I put them in the description.
You need a raise.
We should start paying Ryan.
Wonderful design. Hyundai's killing it. Donald said that earlier. Mike Hendricks said, I love EVs.
Yeah, there's a question about asking if there's a gas version. Yeah, a lot of people are saying good things about the color. A lot of people like the wheels too.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of these Aero Blade wheels. I think that they just look like a more traditional alloy, so maybe that's why I like them more, but still not quite used to the Aero Blades, all the funky designs we get. But
Can I flip the camera for a second? Oh, I need to pull up the photo of the Hyundai that it reminds me of, even though the old Hyundai it reminds me of. Okay, guys, tell me if you see the similarities. Check out our rear window and the rear panels. Obviously, this is a much older vehicle. Things are going to look different, but I'm talking about the shape of the overall car. Are we not seeing some similarities? Let me know. It also does kind of have a bit of a Vans-like side profile, just minus the sliding doors. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, Vans are cool, and this is pretty cool too. All right. And just like a van, you have a very, very flat floor too.
you're so right.
Well, it's completely flat, right? I
Yeah.
mean, so there's so much space.
Sorry, I was scrolling down at the bottom. Paul sent us a super chat, which we appreciate very much. Thank you so
Paul.
much, Paul.
That's a heart.
Oh, I still do them the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that too. My
Okay.
other one wasn't looking that good.
How do you guys do your hand hearts, if you do them?
The kids these days are doing this.
I thought the kids these days were doing that one. I do this one.
Yeah. All right, you guys.
Anyways, it's not important at all.
Yeah, we'll probably end off today's video. We are planning on filming a couple extra videos with this vehicle today that will hopefully go up this weekend or in the next few days, so be sure to check that out. Other than that, I will be live again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the mystery vehicle. Bye-bye, you guys.
Bye.
All right.